Hi guys, so it's been a little while since I've had a Siren project, so we've managed to pick up this Castle Castings air raid Siren. So I think as you can see from the condition of her, she's looking a bit sorry for herself, sat up on a breeze block there like a car with stolen wheels. That's because the base is missing on this one, and quite often when these come up on the market you'll see that the base isn't there. As we see on that one there, this was usually due to when they were being decommissioned and taken down. Obviously at the bottom of the base there were much larger bolts holding it to the top of the pole, as opposed to the smaller bolts there holding the motor actually to the base. So it was easier for us to get those bolts off, and then they just chop down the pole and they go off as two separate items. And then at some point with this one, either someone's purchased it from a scrapyard or someone had asked for it to be saved, and then eventually they get sold on. So that's what's happened with this one. So we'll need to sort out some kind of base for it. The more sort of newer made klaxon air raid sirens they do usually just sit on steel RSJ sections or metal box sections. So worst case we can do that, but I will keep on looking online and see if I can find a more sort of contemporary cast iron base, if I can find one. So yeah, this is a later Cold War Castle casting. So this was the second model 3-phase one they did. They did also do a single phase one as well. So main ways to tell the difference between the earlier and the later model. This later model, the motor's just a flat cylinder shape there. On the earlier it's more oval shaped, so the end's tapered in as it reached the stators at the end there. Also the other difference would have been the base. So the earlier Castle had a more square shaped base like on this Seeker here, whereas this model would have had a flange base which sort of came out like bell shaped on it. It's quite unique to the Castle castings. So possibly believe that Castle had actually taken over Carter of Nelson, so they carried on making sirens once they'd bought them out, and this was kind of their later models, if you like. And there are some quite similar things in the build of them. So unlike the Seeker here, which had the taper in on the porting there, as you can see it's a flat port on the stators on the Castle, and this is very similar to the earlier Carters of Nelson models. Also for the balancing of the rotors, the Seeker here, you can see they used to drill and actually add weights to the rotors to keep them in balance, whereas when I strip this down you'll see they actually drilled holes in the back of the rotors on the inside here to balance them out. So first job on this one then, I will get the original armoured cable taken out there, the electrical box open, and I'll hook it up to the inverter at the top there, and that way I'll be able to put some low speed power through it, just see that she's rotating okay, that there's no rubbing on the rotors as they spin up and the motor's working okay. If we're all happy with that, then start the strip down process, get the rotors and the stators off, and we get them blasted and resprayed. We can see this is a much later paint job that had been put on the Siren, but the original colour is this much lighter sort of bluey greeny grey colour. So I'll be able to get that actually mixed up and colour matched, and we'll get it back to that original colour. So what I'll probably do is a series of videos on this as I go through the process of stripping it down through the painting and the rebuilding, so you can actually see what happens to getting one of these from sort of this condition back to a sort of more original condition, and then hopefully at the end we'll be able to do a full power run up on it. So yeah, I'll keep you posted, keep an eye out for videos coming out over time as I make my way through the restoration of this one. And yeah, thanks guys. Okay, so we've got the electrical terminal box open there. You can see the original 3-phase cables coming in there. Obviously it's an induction motor, so there's no neutral, it's just the 3 live phases there. You can see inside what happens to these, this sort of white powder down here. That's just the oxidization going on with the aluminium there, so we'll get all that cleaned out. I've been able to have a little scrape away there, and we've got the original maker's plates there for Castle castings and where their works was, so that's a nice find. So we'll make sure we get that cleaned up and keep that preserved. So next job, we'll get this these old wires disconnected, this old armoured out, and we'll get some power running through it.